In Dominica, there is an extraordinary doctor. And on our products, China girl. Hey, this is Sai, and you're watching SAT TV. Big up SAT, big up SAT, big up SAT.
Yo, gang to the Zilla, you're watching SAT Telecom, the people them try, see that, Rasta.
Good evening, I am your presenter, Shana Esprit. Welcome to SAT TV News. Among the major developments, PM Skerrit says Dominica is closer to joining CCJ, general election called in Barbados for February 21st, Russia concern at Israel airstrike on Syria, and in sports, Windward Islands cricket team manager says he believes in his team. Details of these and other stories after the break.
SAT TV. Drink your drink. SAT TV. SAT Telecom. SAT TV. Crossfire the bomb. SAT TV. Dominica the norm. TV. Yeah man, SAT TV Crossfire. The people's choice. That's real. Right.
Welcome back. Once again, Dominica primary schools continue to benefit from generous donations as the Maho Primary School received a bag containing school supplies for every child, as well as desktop, laptops, and printers amounting to $95,000. This kind of gesture came from Mr. Hendrik Ishmael, a Dominican and Maho resident who saw the need to contribute to a child's education. Mr. Ishmael strongly believes it is vital to ensure students have basic tools needed to improve their learning skills.
When I was a young man, my elders told my generation that their goal was to make life better for us. Well, my generation has grown up, and just like other parents, we want to make life better for our children. However, the world today is different compared to when I was a child. Technologically, it's unlike anything that I could have imagined. The internet has made this world a smaller place. It's easier than ever to communicate on a global scale. I remember when phone calls to and from overseas were quick because long distance rates were expensive.
He noted that the world is changing drastically and technology is taking over. He said in the past, writing neatly or not, assignments could be done by hand. Now, most schools or almost every school or learning institution across the globe do not accept hand assignments. Hence, the reason to ensure that the children are up to date with the newest technologies and inventions.
Today, classes, assignment, computed, generated, they've attractive, and some are even animated. That's the standard research is now done quickly through search engines compared to my childhood, where students spent hours at the library. In some cases, the classroom is a vital environment where students and teachers interact efficiently from the computer at their homes.
Parliamentary representative for the Maho constituency, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, advised teachers and the students to make maximum use of the computers and the school supplies. Mr. Blackmore stated Dominicans talk only about the negative things. However, they fail to see the positive things that the government does. He informed SAT TV News of the Prime Minister's aim to ensure that every primary school student is equipped with a laptop.
We can parley about the wrong things. We parley a lot about the bad things, but the things that are meant to bring us up and to lift up us, lift up all of us up to the highest level. We don't parley about that. So I think we need to celebrate occasions like that. And we need to parley about things like that. And we need to say to Mr. Ismail and his wife that we, the people of Mao, owe the highest degree of gratitude to you. And nothing wrong in saying thank you for your gift. We are, in fact, a very loving community, a very loving country, and Dominicans like to show gratitude. But somehow during our socialization, some of us believe that it's not a nice thing to say thank you.
Mrs. Victoria Roberts could not have been even more grateful. Mr. Blackmore said she has been extremely excited about the donation since she heard about it. Mr. Roberts told Mr. Ishmael that he has now given the children the tools that they need to succeed. Here is a clip of the children saying thank you in their own special way. We now go to Deslin with a special report.
Right now, we're in the village of Point Michel, where various primary schools have gathered for a rally as part of Drug Awareness Month.
On Tuesday 31st, the streets of Point Michel were filled with positive energy as various primary schools participated in a youth rally for the closing of Drug Awareness Month. Like the majority of other mental health problems, drug abuse and addiction have no single cause. However, there are a number of biological, psychological, and social factors called risk factors that can increase a person's likelihood of developing a chemical abuse or chemical dependency disorder. Mrs. Kerinfeld James Turney, member of the Soft Drug Abuse Unit, says, since today is the last day of Drug Awareness Month, the Drug Prevention Unit saw it fit to showcase a rally with the young ones, hoping to have an impact on the entire community.
And this month we are observing Drug Awareness Month. Today is the final day of the month. However, we have one more activity for Saturday. But today we are in Point Michel with the schools in the south. We have the St. Luke's Primary, we have Belleville, Pichler, Soufriere, Girodel, and Newton Primary for us today. And we will be walking as the final anti-drug march and rally, where we'll be saying no to drugs and sensitizing the community about the dangers of drugs, what it can do to us and others, and how we can live healthy lives. And especially now as we're close to the carnival season, we want the children to know that drugs are bad for their health, for their family, and it can affect them either directly or indirectly.
Mrs. Turney added, they are working with the young ones because they are our future. She says because individuals use and abuse drugs, it does not mean it is right.
All the persons are using and abusing drugs, they are the young ones who are not using it and they are not abusing it. And they have the information which they can pass on so we can have a healthier, vibrant and a better society.
And why the rally? Why was the rally chosen?
Okay, we chose the rally as a means of sensitizing the students, getting them involved, because their involvement, they were supposed to make placards, and so they brought up some of the ideas. So it was also a learning exercise as well. But if you look at some of the placards later on, you'll see the different slogans that are written on it. So that's one of the reasons why we did the rally, one in each district for this month.
Director of the National Drug Abuse Prevention Unit, Ms. Jacinta Bani, says it has been a very successful month for them and their activities were executed very well.
We had a lot of community support, and I think this is our biggest rally in all of the rallies. And I just want to send an invitation to the public that on Saturday we'll be having our walk from the Roseau Market to the Maho Market. And persons who want to come on the anti-drug walk, we're asking them to register with us at the National Drug Abuse Prevention Office in the Ministry of Health. And as we said, our theme is my community, my choice, no drugs. So we do what we do best, is to bring information to the general public.
The main objective of hosting the rally is to refrain from using drugs. She wants the public to be aware of the dangers and the consequences. Here's a message from Mrs. Barnes to the parents.
Well, what I want to say to the parents, Carnival is around the corner, as we know. And I think what we are doing, I think we are saving lives, because persons who probably intended to drink a lot or probably smoke a lot will have gotten that message prior to Carnival, so they can help to make decisions. And we want to say to our young persons during that season, they have to be very careful in terms of drug use and drug abuse or alcohol use. And the issue of driving and drinking, don't drink if don't drive if you're drunk. And have a designated driver if you're going somewhere where you can't control the wheels. So we just want safety and prevention during that period.
Representative of the Point Michel Development Committee, Mr. Hassett Williams, left the children with an important message and example of the effects of the use of drugs.
I was 16 years old. I represented my school, St. Mary's Academy, in the national, and then I went to represent Dominica. And there was a gentleman. He was so proud of me. Every time he comes to our shop, he would say, Son, boy, you made us proud, you made us proud. And I left home in 1964. He was just a social drinker. He was just a social drinker when I left. He used to come every Saturday and drink. When I came back 9 years later, it was not the same man. He was not the same man. He was bloated. His lips was peeling off. He was suffering. 9 years later, suffering from liver cirrhosis. And when you suffer from liver cirrhosis, there might be a cure. I don't think so. The only thing that can save you is a liver transplant.
Thank you, Deslin, for that report. The Dominican government earlier this year made a greater attempt to sever ties with the British Privy Council in an attempt to join the Caribbean Court of Justice. Since it gained independence in 1978, Dominica has recognized the Privy Council as its final court of recourse. However, the CCJ was established in 2001 to serve as a substitution for the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council by heads of government of CARICOM. Although there are 15 Caribbean countries that are member states of CARICOM and 5 associate members as of 2011, only Barbados, Belize, and Guyana have replaced the Privy Council. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says a letter to end ties with the Privy Council has been drafted and endorsed by Cabinet and will go out very soon.
In recognition of some of the concerns raised by the public, we've had to hold back a bit and to engage some of the publics on their views, their objections, their concerns about the CCJ. I intend to write to the parliamentary opposition seeking their views, write to the Bar Association on these views and other stakeholders on their views on the CCJ. But I have listened to some of the criticisms, and to be quite honest, some of the concerns raised by people are not profound concerns. Issue of political interference is a non-issue. And whether we are ready as a region to have our own court cannot be an issue, because we've been talking in this country, in this world, this Caribbean, for so many decades about the need for us to be independent, or we're sovereign and we want independence from Britain, all of these things. And when we create institutions for ourselves, we have issues with them.
Mrs. Skerrit stated, just like when we created the University of the West Indies, people had many issues with it. No one can deny it is now making a meaningful contribution to the region's development. He says the CCJ will make a significant positive contribution to the Caribbean in terms of positive leadership and guidance. Prime Minister stated Dominicans need to do their research to find out when last a Dominican brought a matter to the Privy Council.
What the CCJ has started to do is to take the courts to people. And in the present matter involving the Jamaican lady who's taking the government of Barbados to court, the court now is going to Jamaica because there are witnesses in Jamaica who would not have the ability to pay the fares and hotel to come to Trinidad to the court. The court is going to Jamaica. And therefore, the administration and access of justice is enhanced. If we're talking about enhanced access to justice, what are some of the actions we must take to allow it to happen? If you were to ask me, I would say the creation of the CCJ was for that particular purpose. But it is interesting to note that lawyers who are talking against the CCJ are not even aware of the provisions of the Constitution. I mean, in the case of Bernard Wiltshire, the former Attorney General, I mean, I heard a question that he asked the Chief Justice about it. He's surprised that our Constitution says that there ought to be no referendum. Bernard Wiltshire was Attorney General when we created the CCJ.
Mrs. Skerrit highlighted that Mr. Wiltshire went to all of the meetings for the development of the CCJ and never had any problems. He is now singing a different song. Part of the decision to move speedily to recognize the CCJ is that as a CARICOM member state, Dominica is responsible for contributing to the operations of the CCJ. A US $100 million loan was contracted from the Caribbean Development Bank to meet the expenses of the court in perpetuity. Mr. Scarrett explained that seeking redress from the Privy Council has been expensive for many citizens who would like to seek justice and further clarification in certain matters. This will be cheaper and easier with the CCG.
We will go ahead with the CCJ because we have to do it. It's not an opposition to Britain. And Britain understands this because there are many times the Privy Council have indicated that they are challenged in meeting the domestic UK national mandate, and having all these former colonies requiring them to provide that guidance, they're unable to do so, and therefore we have to find alternatives. We have an alternative, and we have to move in a direction and so on.
Former President of Dominica, Dr. Nicholas J. O. Liverpool, made an appeal to member countries of the OECS to support the CCJ instead of fighting against its approval. President of the CCJ, Sir Dennis Byron, stated, "The British government has given many assurances publicly and privately that it will not stand in the way of Dominica's plan to join the Criminal Court of Justice once a request is put before it." The CCJ is based in Port of Spain, Trinidad, and has a panel of 7 judges. The 10th EDF Economic Integration and Trade of the OECS region was officially launched on Wednesday, January 30th. The program is based on the OECS development and integration strategy and seeks to support the deepening of OECS integration through the establishment of the OECS Economic Union, which commenced on December 10, 2012. His Excellency Felix Gregoire, Commissioner to the OECS and Ambassador to the OECS and CARICOM, stated the project is aimed at contributing towards the establishment of OECS Economic Union as a single financial and economic space, through the development of a harmonized policy legislation, regulatory and administrative framework.
Some of the major activities include enhance the institutional capacity of the OECS to stimulate, manage, and coordinate the economic integration process. Design and establish the OECS Competition Commission to establish legislative and administrative arrangements for competition, anti-dumping, and consumer protection. Enhance the information technology capacity of the OECS Secretariat and member states by providing video conference facilities.
For the tourism aspect, the program intends to prepare status updates on the free movement of goods, services, and people while developing a plan of action to coincide with the Treaty of Bastille. It will also boost competitiveness and export capacity of the OECS private sector. Elmer Jean Isaac, the project coordinator of the OECS Regional Integration Unit, pointed out that this project is a continuation of the support that has been provided to the region by the European Union, EU. She said they will be looking into labor market information systems as one of the elements, because if we talk integration of people and labor, we need to have an understanding of what the market looks like and its strengths.
The Competition Commission is also vital, particularly for the private sector, from the perspective that prior to now in the OECS, we have not had the facility and the ability to monitor what is happening in the market from the point of view of anti-competitive business conduct. And so the work that we will do under the 10th EDF with respect to the Competition Commission for the OECS will in fact allow us to set up that commission and to undertake the enforcement that is necessary for competition. But in terms of the sector policy and harmonization, as Ambassador said, our focus is on tourism and agriculture, not just as separate sectors, but also looking at the linkages between the two. harmonization of policies in the two areas, looking at critical areas such as the development of the agriculture, health and food safety system for the region.
She said, going further, they will be looking into transitioning from the tourism product they offer to health and wellness. Ms. Isaac stated, while a lot of work is being done in the public sector, it is the private sector that is involved in trading, so all need to be done to enhance the ability to do this more effectively.
Between now and March of 2017, we would need to have all of our activities completed. But even before that, we have a 3-year period, so up to March of 2015, by which we need to commit the funds that we are going to utilize under this project.
Ms. Deborah Blackman, Project Officer of the OECS Regional Integration Unit, highlighted that one of the areas the private sector will deal with this capacity building with the main focus on coalition of services. She added, the manufacturing and services sector will be monitored, which include arts and crafts, film, and music. Ms. Blackman said the support provided will be financial on a core sharing basis.
E-commerce will be one of the areas we'll be focusing on for this program estimate. There's also a component for innovation and development, and there is also some funding available for new products and services development and testing. There will also be support for BSOs in trade agreements, in trading opportunities, so they in turn will be able to provide enough support for their client companies. There's also some sensitization to market and trade related issues that the BSOs will be benefiting from, and they will be able to pass that information on to members.
In the coming weeks, the OECS Secretariat proposes to conduct consultations in member states with the public and private sector to advise on program activities and areas of focus, including for micro, small and medium enterprises and synergies with national programs. The government of Dominica has seen it fit to enhance the customer relation skills in Dominica by having a one-day workshop in customer service initiative. Dr. Ben Henry, a customer service consultant from Jamaica, was hosting the workshop. The idea, he said, is to train the public sector employees to gain knowledge and development on customer chatties, customer complaint handling procedures, and to train the staff in customer service.
The whole idea of that is to develop customer charters, customer complaints handling procedures, and to train the staff in customer service.
However, Dr. Henry stated all these things will not make sense if the managers in the public sector are not on board. The managers need to commit to the initiative, hence communicating the vision and mission into the different departments. Managers are expected to be role models for their staff by being an example. They should be a mirror reflecting excellent customer relation skills. The aim of this workshop is to give strategies that could enhance, promote, and embed a service culture in each department of the public sector.
But all of this won't happen if the managers are not on board. They have to buy into this. They have to commit to it and then communicate the vision and the mission of the department in terms of customer service delivery to the staff. And they have to role model the behavior that they expect from the staff. So if they tell their staff to smile with the customer and to maintain eye contact when the customer is talking to them, they should be doing the same thing when the staff observe them interfacing with customers.
Dr. Henry stressed that the managers should create that positive organizational climate. He gave a few brief points as to how managers should treat their staff.
Well, they have to role model the behavior that they expect from their staff, and they have to embrace the concept of management by wandering around. They can't sit in an office and you know, all day. They have to get out of that office, observe their staff interfacing with customers, and then give positive and corrective feedback. You know, they have to become more visible. You know, spend less time in the office and interface with the customers, and not only the customers but also the employees. You know, if they do that on a regular basis and create that
that climate, that positive organizational climate. You know, you don't shout at people in front of their peers or any time at all. You criticize them in private, praise them in public, tell them how important they are as individuals, the lowliest employees, you know, are as important as the one up at the top.
In his few last words, Dr. Henry stated, "It is important to make people feel valued at all times because every staff in an organizational structure is just as important as the manager." When asked if he thinks the public sector should invest in enrolling their employees in organizational courses, this is what he has to say.
We're lucky here in the sense that we have trained 45 persons in the public sector who will become in-house trainers for public sector employees. So every month, starting to next month, the staff will be getting training in customer service, because constant reinforcement is absolutely critical. You know, it can't happen just for one time, because you send somebody for training for in customer service for one day. They go back, they're all excited about, you know, doing what they're supposed to do. But after 3 weeks, they forget. They go back to the same old routine. The purpose of the in-house training team is to reinforce it every month.
Calypso lovers were entertained on the night of Wednesday, January 30th, as the Stardom tent held what it dubbed the Make or Break show. The show, which was held at the Harlem Plaza, featured a number of Calypsonians, including the likes of Mighty DBS, Maja, Jeffers, Shadow Flow, Unwanted Dino, Royette Laura, and Twana, among others. Mighty Logas entertained the crowd with this song entitled Can't Eat Concrete, which everyone danced and sang along to.
Mama, I cannot eat it, I cannot save it, I cannot invest it, tell me how will I ever see my way, a little opportunity to earn a salary, with integrity and pride to provide for my family. Die, 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 die,
Ghetto Prince, who was also at the show, put on yet another very passionate performance for his song entitled Prison Blues. The song sheds light on the high rate of young men involved in illegal activities that end up at the Stock Farm prison. The crowd's eyes were glued on Big Jeff, who performed his song entitled Beth They Poundin'.
When you see the rocking back, you carry power passing. If you see the man and Julia, he can wait like a T-man. And I say it's there. And I say it's there. Thank
you! Checker was not dead, but alive during the performance of his song entitled When I Die, which had the crowd dancing along.
So when I'm gone, I want to leave behind a strong legacy. When I'm gone, I want my fellow men to remember me, not because I had plenty money, material things that I got dishonestly, not because of power and glory. When I die, I want the words to be said of me.
A lot of controversy was raised over Hunter, who was caught with prompts for his song written on his hand at the Calypso semi-finals show. He tied his left hand with a black plastic bag in an attempt to show that he has his song memorized. A decision will be made on Friday, February 1st by the Calypso Association on what action will be taken when they review the footage.
Dominica had to do much better than this. I said we can't leave the job for the teachers and the police. Our parents must play their role in shaping our world, otherwise fathers they'll be gone, my mothers will lose their son. Left to man, look another mother, just like one.
Caressa chaperoned all patrons' dancing skills as they were energized during his intense performance of Water Bag Burst. Other Calypsonians who graced the stage were Black Diamond, Comforter, Beno, Mighty DBS, and Della, among others. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.